Hello and welcome back to Movie Deputy Reviews, where we are once again interrogating yet another movie for you. Now, I know yesterday's was a little bit weird. I don't do shorts very often, but I kind of felt that it did fit as it was the short that went along with the original Moana. I probably should have done that in between the two movies, but I did want to make sure and include that as it was a really unique little short that kind of played out. I actually do review those as well. And so I will probably fit more of those like into these little pieces here and there. But the movie that we are going to be talking about today is one about religion. Now, this one has been in the theaters recently and it's now also available on instant video. I will say on this one before I even get into this that if you are overly sensitive to religious type movies or easily offended or anything along that line, then this may not be a movie for you. It's not full on horror, but there is definitely some gore that might catch some people off guard, and it's not necessarily supposed to be accurate, so I'm sure that is going to be upsetting quite a few people as well. What we see here are these two young ladies, missionaries, going door to door, spreading the good news about their faith and trying to draw people into their church. Now, you've probably seen these types of missionaries before in your communities, the ones that dress all in black and they have to go in pairs. And I will just let you infer what specific religion I'm referring to, because I don't want to disparage anybody on that, but I'm sure you can gather which one I'm referring to. Well, in this one, they go to this house and they knock, and the moment they open the door, this gentleman is oh so friendly and seems really sweet. But there is a lot more to this than what they seem. He invites them in, and they can't come in unless there's a woman in the home, as it's two young ladies, and they don't want to appear to be anything inappropriate. And he assures them that she's in the kitchen and that everything's fine. So they come in, and they get settled, and they smell this aroma of this blueberry pie, and it's just intoxicating. But something feels off. Like, almost as soon as they get in there, there's just something that feels off. And so they start looking around and start checking things out. And then they realize that where the scent is coming from is not from the kitchen, but from a candle. So they try to leave. Well, that's where this gets really complicated. They're told that they can leave at any time, but their faith, they have to make a choice in regards to their faith in order to do so. If they are devout, they need to make one choice, and if they have doubt, they need to make another. And each one of these doors is going to lead to its own set of perils in order to escape this. Now, this is very much a psychological thriller, as it goes really deep into the whole thing of what is the one true religion, and like the pious and then the devout and all of this different things that kind of go into this. And it just really challenges you, and it challenges a lot of ideas with religion. So if you're one of those people that questions a lot of things about religion, you might relate with some parts of this, and there's other things that are just downright creepy. It goes into from things from the history of different religions to the history of board games, and it gets really dark just in the whole general feel of the movie and in the tone of the story and the things that they start to come across. And it starts out in this really good place and it ends up in this really just the opposite, because you think of good and missionaries and a higher power and God and all this, and then you find yourself surrounded by all of this really dark, almost borderline demonic type feel to this movie. And I know that's what they were going for with this, and honestly it succeeds in what it's doing here, but will these girls be able to escape? Well, are they devout enough in their faith that they can find a way out? And what is actually really happening here? Because what's really happening is something more intense than I could even begin to describe. Let's just say nothing in this movie prepares you for where this movie goes. And it really pushes the envelope. There were audible gasps throughout the theater when I had gone to see this, and it was impossible not for this to catch at least some people by surprise. But the tone of the story, just there, it's been, stuff like this has been done before. It's just been done in different ways. So how does this stand apart? Where does this rate? Well, obviously I'm giving this a guilty rating. I mean, that kind of goes without saying, but yes, this is definitely getting a guilty rating. Score-wise, I ended up at just a 4.25 out of 10 on the deputy scale. This movie is not to the level of Nightmare Fuel or anything like that, but it's going to be something that a lot of people find disturbing, and it's going to be a conversation starter for a lot of people because it challenges a lot of things with ideas that people aren't ready to challenge, but it does so in a way that doesn't necessarily create the curiosity with it, but more in just a way to just creep you out. Like I said, it does have the gore factor, just kind of even beyond in a few points on this, and it's just blah at times. But if you go into this at least prepared for that, you might actually find something in this movie to enjoy. This is one of those ones that is truly, I would say, watchable but forgettable, because it's like, this is one of those ones that's like, okay, you might be glad you saw it, but it's not one that you could really recommend to others, and that kind of falls right in that category. So, if you want the latest and greatest Movie Deputy content and more reviews like this and everything else, our highs and our lows and everything in between, you know which buttons to push, and as always, check out our YouTube channel for the first access to all of the new reviews. And as always, I'll be back soon. Bye-bye!